All right, we'll begin with Jaya Radha Madhava. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tiravana Chari. Yamuna Tiravana-chari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tiravana-chari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tiravana-chari. Yamuna Tiravana-chari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Shri Radha Madhava Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All together. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, unto Narayan Rishi, the Rosian being, the Vyasadeva, the author. Nashtapreshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati utamashloke bhaktir bhavati naishiki. Many attendants in the classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. Having service unto the personality of Godhead, whose praise of the transcendental songs is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. It's born in the darkest of ignorance. Yet shall master our eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Jai. Welcome to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. How is everyone today? Everybody. Jai. Dustin G, how are you? You're unmanifested to my vision. Okay, it'd be nice to have your darshan if you would like to. Okay, so today we're continuing the story of Lord Nrsingadev. And it's so nice that we're studying this section. We'll be completing it probably around Nrsinga Chaturdashi time, so it's like a great warm-up to Nrsinga Chaturdashi. So we're beginning a new chapter, chapter 3. Hiranyakashipu's plan to become immortal. Haribol. Boo. So many of us know this story, but it'll be nice for us to go through it and read it. Can someone please read text 1 on the microphone? Do we have a microphone with us? Dustin, could you grab the mic? Thank you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Text 1. Narada Muni said to Maharaj Yudhisthira, the demoniac king Hiranyakashipu wanted to be unconquerable and free from old age and dwindling of the body. He wanted to gain all the yoga perfections like anima and laghima, to be deathless. and to be the only king of the entire universe, including Brahmaloka.
All right, I'm going to try to be interactive to keep us awake. Dustin, what are some yogic perfections that you know of?
So there's the 8 major siddhis, which are very hard to attain in this Kali Yuga, and Anima and Lagima are one of those major siddhis.
Do you know what they mean?
Anima is, I can't remember which one is which, but one, the yogi is able to become very large in size, and the other one, the yogi is able to become very tiny.
Yeah, Jai. So I'm pretty sure anima is tiny, right? Anima is like to get really, like anu. Jai. Have you ever wanted a yogic perfection, Dustin?
Of course.
Yeah. Also has Hiranyakashipu, he wants all of them. And he wants to be deathless. So this is the premise. And perhaps a helpful thing to go through when reading this is that while Hiranyakashipu is this demon who exists, as described in previous ages, demons were on other planets like Hiranyakashipu, and then they were on other countries or other areas of land. They were in the same families, and now in Kali Yuga, they're within our own heart. So while we can read that, oh, this person was doing this, we can also say, is there a little Hiranyakashipu in my heart? And my little Hiranyakashipu is doing these austerities. Perhaps that can be helpful for our advancement. Text 2, please.
Text 2. In the valley of Mandara Hill, Hiranyakashipu began performing his austerities by standing with his toes on the ground, keeping his arms upward and looking toward the sky. This position was extremely difficult, but he accepted it as a means to attain perfection.
Wow. Imagine that. Standing on your toes. There's a nice picture here. Let's see. You can see here on Hiranyakashipu, he's standing on just his toes. And we'll hear a little bit more about this austerity. Text 3, please.
From the hair on Hiranyakashipu's head there emanated an effulgent light as brilliant and intolerable as the rays of the sun at the time of dissolution. Seeing the performance of such austere penances, the demigods who had been wandering throughout the planets now returned to their respective homes.
Okay, so the demigods were perhaps on vacation, and because of these austerities, they were like, all right, we got to head home. Text 4.
Because of Hiranyakashipu's severe austerities, fire came from his head, and this fire and its smoke spread throughout the sky, encompassing the upper and lower planets, which all became extremely hot.
Because of the power of his severe austerities, all the rivers and oceans were agitated. The surface of the globe, which with its mountains and islands, began trembling, and the stars and planets fell. All directions were ablaze.
Can you imagine that? You look in the sky and you see the stars are falling. What does that even mean for a star to fall? And all directions were ablaze. That's pretty intense, right?
Next 6. Scorched and extremely disturbed because of Hiranyakashipu's severe penances, all the demigods left the planets where they reside and went to the planet of Lord Brahma, where they informed the Creator as follows: O Lord of demigods, O Master of the universe, because of the fire emanating from Hiranyakashipu's head as a result of his severe austerities, we have become so disturbed that we could not stay in our planets but have come to you.
O great person, chief of the universe, if you think it proper, kindly stop these disturbances meant to destroy everything, before all your obedient subjects are annihilated.
Hiranyakashipu has undertaken a most severe type of austerity. Although his plan is not unknown to you, kindly listen as we submit his intentions.
So now the demigods are going to say what Hiranyakashipu is intending with his austerities. Vishnu?
The Supreme Person within this universe, Lord Brahma, has gotten his exalted post by dint of severe austerities, mystic power, and trance. Consequently, after creating the universe, he has become the most worshipable demigod within it. Since I am eternal and time is eternal, I shall endeavor for such austerity, mystic power, and trance for many, many births, and thus I shall occupy the same post occupied by Lord Brahma.
Dustin, you want to come get the mic too after Prabhupada Priya?
By dint of my severe austerities, I shall reverse the results of pious and impious activities. I shall overturn all the established practices within this world. Even Dhruvaloka will be vanquished at the end of the millennium. Therefore, what is the use of it? I shall prefer to remain in the position of Brahma.
O Lord, we have heard from reliable sources that in order to obtain your post, Hiranyakashipu is now engaged in severe austerity. You're the master of the three worlds. Please, without delay, take whatever steps you deem appropriate.
O Lord Brahma, your position within this universe is certainly most auspicious for everyone, especially the cows and the brahmanas. Wait, how you say that word? Brahminical?
Brahminical.
Okay. Brahminical culture and the protection of cows can be increasingly glorified, and thus all kinds of material happiness, opulence, and good fortune will automatically increase. But unfortunately, if Hiranyakashipu occupies your seat, everything will be lost. O King, being thus informed by the demigods, the most powerful Lord Brahma, accompanied by Bhrigu, Daksha, and other great sages, immediately started for the place where Hiranyakashipu was performing his penance and austerities.
Then this is our focus verse. Oh, yeah, so something that happened was I was scheduled for Thursday, and I kind of like prepared for Thursday and like read all Thursday's verses, and then I got switched to Tuesday, so I was like, oh. Anyways, the Sanskrit for the Thursday verse, it starts out with Shri Hiranyakashipu Vacha. I thought that was really fun. Shri Hiranyakashipu Vacha. But this one doesn't have that. All right. Nadadarsha pratichanam Valmika chinakichakai Vidikabira chirnam Medastvan mamasaj shonitnatam Nipantam tapasalokan Yata brihapihatam navim Ilakshya vismita praha Asangstam hangsavahana. Please chant. Nakabir Achirnam. Living. Chinakichakai. Nakabir Archinam. Pantam Tapasalokan. Anyone more? Nadar Darsha Pratichana. Naikajiniki Chakai. Ili Kabir Achirnam. Abhitam Ravim. Altogether synonyms. No, not. Dadarsha saw Pratichanam covered. Valmika by an anthill. Chuna grass. Kichakai 6. Vivilikai be ants. Chiranam eaten all around. Meda whose fat. Truk skin. Mamangsha the flesh. Shunitam and blood. Tampantam heating. Tapasa by a severe type of penance. Lokan all the three worlds. Yata just as. Abra by clouds. Apihitam covered. Ravim the sun. Vilakshya seeing. Vishmita struck with wonder. Raha said. Hasan smiling. Tam to him. Hamsa Vahana Lord Brahma who rides a swan airplane. Aruna, can you please read, or I'll read the translation, you can read the purport. Lord Brahma, who is carried by a swan airplane, at first could not see where Hiranyakashipu was, for Hiranyakashipu's body was covered by an anthill and by grass and bamboo sticks. Because Hiranyakashipu had been there for a long time, the ants had devoured his skin, fat, flesh, and blood. Then Lord Brahma and the demigods spotted him, resembling a cloud-covered sun, heating all the worlds by his austerity. Struck with wonder, Lord Brahma began to smile, then addressed him as follows. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
The living entity can live merely by his own power, without the help of skin, marrow, bone, blood, and so on. Because it is said, Asango hi ayam purushaha. The living entity has nothing to do with the material covering. Hiranyakashipu performed a severe type of tapasya, austerity, for many long years. Indeed, it is said that he performed the tapasya for 100 heavenly years, since one day of the demigods equals 6 of our months. Certainly, this was a very long time. By nature's own way, his body had been almost consumed by earthworms, ants, and other parasites. And therefore, even Brahma was at first unable to see him. Later, however, Brahma could ascertain where Hiranyakashipu was. And Brahma was struck with wonder to see Hiranyakashipu's extraordinary power to execute tapasya. Anyone would conclude that Hiranyakashipu was dead because his body was covered in so many ways, But Lord Brahma, the supreme living beings in this universe, could understand that Hiranyakashipu was alive but covered with biomaterial elements. It is also to be noted that although Hiranyakashipu performed this austerity for a long time, he was nonetheless known as the Daitya and Rakshasa. It will be seen from verses to follow that even great saintly person could not perform such a severe type of austerity. Why then was he called a Rakshasa and Daitya? It is because whenever he did was for his own sense gratification. His son Prahlad Maharaj was only 5 years old, and so what could Prahlad do? Yet, simply by performing a little devotional service according to the instruction of Narada Muni, Prahlada became so dear to the Lord that the Lord came to save him. Whereas Hiranyakashipu, in spite of all his austerities, was killed. This is the difference between devotional service and all other methods of perfection. One who performs severe austerities for the sense gratification is fearful to the entire world, whereas a devotee who performs even a slight amount of devotional service is a friend to everyone. Shradham Sarva Bhutana. Since the Lord is the well-wisher of every living entity, and since a devotee assumes the qualities of the Lord, a devotee also acts for everyone's good fortune by performing devotional service. Thus, although Hiranyakashipu performed such a severe austerity, he remained a Daitya and Rakshasa. Whereas Prahlad Maharaj, although born on the same Daitya father, became the most exalted devotee and was personally protected by the Supreme Lord. Bhakti is therefore called Sarvapadi Vinir Muktam, indicating that a devotee is freed from all material designations, and Anya Vilasita Sunyam, situated in the transcendental position, free from all material desires.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Wow, so what a scene we're seeing. I have a little image. Dustin, come look. Oh, not this one. This one. See, yeah, he's doing this austerity, and the ants built an anthill around him, and the bamboo was growing through his body and his flesh. And he was just like a skeleton, practically. It was like burning the whole universe. And Srila Prabhupada made a very interesting point that even great saintly persons can't do these kinds of austerities, where we can stand on our toes for 100 celestial years. And one celestial day is 6 months. So he did this austerity for 100 celestial years. That's, it's really crazy. And yeah, we see in society, in modern day society, that people are actually able to do so many austerities. Maybe we can all think about something really hard we had to do one time, and perhaps it was, for our own, sense gratification, you could say, like maybe college. The austerities that college students are able to do, it's like they're staying up all night, they're drinking all these coffees, they're, sometimes they take like 10 classes or something crazy like that. And yeah, it's not impossible for people who are motivated by sense gratification to perform austerities. But Srila Prabhupada was saying in this purport that a person who does extreme austerities for his own benefit is to be feared by the whole world. That's the danger of selfish austerities, is that people will cut down anyone else who's in the way of their goal. They will, they'll do what they have to do to get to the top in the material world. But Srila Prabhupada compared Hiranyakashipu to Prahlad Maharaj, who's a 5-year-old boy, and Prahlad Maharaj was never able to, stand on his toes for 100 celestial years. He was 5 years old. But just because he had devotion, he had so much more power than Hiranyakashipu. He was able to tolerate so much. He was able to withstand Hiranyakashipu, who had just done this austerity. He was able to tolerate Hiranyakashipu's attacks, his tormenting. So, yeah, this is something that we can learn from, is that, yeah, austerity. Yeah, we can think about how devotional service, we can perform austerities with the same fire, but we don't have to be so intense, and we don't have to be self-motivated. There was another interesting point here in the verses we were reading about. I guess we'll go back and do a little bit of a recap on what we weren't talking about. But the demigods, they're living in these heavenly planets. And you might think, oh, the heavenly planets, they're so peaceful, they're so nice, you know. But in the entire material world, there's always some kind of disturbance. There's always some kind of anxiety that you're put in. So we may think that we can escape, escape poverty maybe, or escape the Earth planet and go to these heavenly planets. But even still, they're getting covered in smoke. They're burning, these heavenly planets, through one person's selfish austerity. That's how the material world is everyone is trying to replace each other. Everyone is trying to cut each other down. We see even Lord Brahma. He can't be comfortable in his position, you could say, because there's people trying to pull him down. There's people trying to replace him. And we also see this with, presidents, dictators, kings, is that someone is performing great austerities to try to be the top dog, try to replace the lord of the land. And the demigods, they have this ability where they can actually understand the mind of someone. They can see what we're thinking. So even our thoughts are not so private as we might think, but they're witnessed by the demigods. We're always witnessed by the demigods. And so the demigods can see what's happening. They see what's going on. They know Hiranyakashipu's purpose, and thus they're warning Lord Brahma. And let me see. Yeah, Lord Brahma, he is protecting all the cows, the brahmanas, Brahminical culture. And Hiranyakashipu will destroy everything if he comes into that position. And yeah, then that brings us to our verse where Lord Brahma sees Hiranyakashipu doing these austerities. So yeah, I was thinking we can open up for discussion. We can, think about our, Junior? No. Can you give him the mic? Oh, yeah, you have to press the button twice.
Hari Bol, all glory to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.
Prabhuji, thank you for this lecture. Earlier, I like how you brought up devotional service and how this is tied to, this verse and austerity. I've noticed throughout my life, or, these past 3 years in Krishna consciousness, I notice that when I do seva, when I do my service, I spend like 2 hours cleaning dishes one time at the temple. We just had an event, we had dishes piled up, and then the next morning we had an inspection. So once they told me that, I started freaking out. Like, if we fail this inspection, this health inspection, the temple, might not have a kitchen. So I spent like the whole night doing the seva, but it didn't feel, I didn't feel like when I'm at home and I'm like, grandma's telling me to wash the dishes, okay, I'll go ahead and do it. This actually satisfied my soul. It wasn't, it gave pleasure to the soul, similar to how it is with prasad. It's not just food that's satisfying our flesh, our tongue, satisfies our soul as well. And again, like, whenever my father back at home tells me like, "Oh, time to cut the grass," like, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. And I'm tired by the end of it. But whenever I was helping mowing the lawn at this, like, at the Radha Golokananda temple in North Carolina, man, I was mowing this grass on this big field like it was nothing. I didn't feel tired, and I would tell my friend, man, if my father knew I was doing this for free. But it truly, like, it felt satisfying, like I was doing it for a purpose. So yeah, just wanted to say thank you for bringing up devotional service onto this
Wonderful
verse.
point. What you're kind of highlighting the difference is that Hiranyakashipu's austerity disturbs everyone. No one likes it when someone is selfishly performing austerities. It's hurting everyone. It's putting everyone in fear. But yeah, when we do devotional austerities, then we're having a blast. Everyone is like so appreciative and happy, and it helps the soul. And yeah, Jai. Mother Kunti?
The Nasta Presho Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. I know we've heard this question before, but why is it almost? If you really want all the anarthas out of your heart, why is it almost destroyed to nil? I'm just curious. I know you've heard this question.
Yeah, I've heard Prabhupada Priya and Gokulananda Prabhu share responses on this question before. Maybe either of you would like to. It says something like the last percent is Krishna's mercy or something like that.
He said it.
Yeah, we have our endeavor, and Krishna brings us past the finish line. It's all Krishna's will. Yeah. Yeah, like we can purify ourselves only so much, but if Krishna wants, he will be the one to fully cleanse our heart. The verse we recite before Srimad Bhagavatam class, we say that by regular attendance in Bhagavatam class, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. So many times we've asked, what does that almost mean? Why is it almost destroyed? Shouldn't it be completely destroyed? And I've heard a few different reasons, like the mercy of the devotees, the mercy of Krishna. But yeah, at the end of the day, we need that mercy as well. We need Krishna's sweet will. We can't purify ourselves by our own desire, by our own will, but Krishna also has to do it. And of course, Krishna wants us to be purified, so we don't necessarily have to worry in that regard so much. Prabhupada?
I thought it was interesting here in text 11 how he says, by dint of my severe austerities, I shall reverse the results of pious and impious activities. So it's like, not only did he want to be the ruler and the king of the universe and all that, but he wanted to change the whole system of order and the way, the whole laws of karma and everything. So that, because generally it's like you do something good, you get a good result. You do something bad, you get some punishment. But he wanted that it's reversed, that you do some bad thing and you get prosperity and, good things coming to you. And you do some good deed and you get bad reaction for that, in order to just his mission was just to promote demoniac society and reward any kind of demoniac activities and punish anybody who was going to do anything religious or for the pleasure of the Lord. They're just so vehemently atheistic and antagonistic to God and everything that God stands for.
Mm-hmm. And perhaps we see that a little bit today with a few little Hiranyakashipus, but the more we enjoy our senses, the better you're off, the better you're doing, and the more respect you have in society, and the more the government likes you, perhaps. But yeah, certain countries, they ban any kind of religious activity. they ban any kind of spirituality. So there's small Hiranyakashipus running around. Another Kunti?
That in Scotland, it is so demoniac. They even have thought police. Go figure that one. Thought police. One, a lady and her housemate, they were both ladies were praying, and the police came in and busted them for praying. It's true. It's on the news.
Wow.
Well, question about Dhruva. It's not really destroyed at the end of the millennium, is it?
No, but under
But he wants it
Hiranyakashipu's
to be.
rule,
Oh,
it will
gosh.
be. And
His plan is that he lives forever, like mortal beings like himself live forever, and that eternal planets like Dhruvaloka are destroyed.
yeah, in the purport to this, Srila Prabhupada talks about how so many parts of his plan are just impossible. And for example, his lifespan isn't, like Lord Brahma's lifespan is like thousands of celestial years is a day for him, and he lives 100 years. And so Hiranyakashipu, his lifespan is like that of a fly compared to Lord Brahma. But he's so determined that Prabhupada writes in the purport that he'll actually take several births if he has to take this position of Lord Brahma. He's willing to die and then be born again and pick up with his austerities and die again and be born again and keep trying to take this post. That's very inconceivable, isn't it, Gokulananda Prabhu?
Isn't that the cardinal principle, what you just mentioned, like Lord Brahma, all the positions, right? In order to take those positions, they have to endeavor. I was contemplating on Mother Kunti's question, and it just came to my mind. Prahlad Maharaj, once I Googled, there must be something to his previous birth context. Sometimes we feel, oh, Dhruva Maharaj within 6 months, Prahlad Maharaj while he was in the womb. But there is a mention in Hari Bhakti Vilas by Sanatana Goswami, he quotes Skanda Puran, and Garga Samhita also it is mentioned. He was a Brahmana by name Vasudev or Vasudev, I don't remember exactly, who was an ardent devotee of Lord Narasimha in that birth. And there is a connection, that's the point. And then I was thinking about Nashta Prayasho Bhadreshu. Padma Puran, there is a verse which says, Apararabdha phalam papam kutam bijam phalonmukam. So all these stages of the karma, we all know, right? So prarabdha is the manifested one. So like Bhagavatam says, the hoof print of the calf, right? Everything is samasrita padaya pallav. So whole karma ocean is reduced to just one small container or cup, right? If that has to be nullified, I remember Sarvabhauma Prabhupada disciple, he said, then you wouldn't have this body. Everything has to be reduced to zero, then we will be a ghost. So manifested karma will be there. But if you look at the whole thing from 16,000 feet perspective, bird's eye view, our lifespan is nothing. It is so insignificant. So even if we have to take few more births, in that sense, that's why it is probably said almost destroyed. Like fan is turned off. Yeah, it's just gonna spin for a little while. So.
Yeah, it's nice to remember our insignificance sometimes. I was remembering Tamal Krishna Maharaj's story with Srila Prabhupada in LA. I'm sure we all know it. He picked up the phone and was talking to Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada was saying, like, out of all the universes, there's this one universe. And in this one universe, there are so many planets, but there's this one little Earth planet. And on this Earth planet, there are so many continents and nations, but there's one United States. And then in all these different states in the U.S., there's like this one California, and all the cities, there's just this LA, and there's so many buildings, and there's this one little temple, And there's so many devotees in the temple, but there's this one devotee, Tamal Krishna, who thinks he's so big. And so we can see it as instructive for ourselves. We may think, oh, I'm such a big devotee, but our tiny lifespan is like a blip. Bloop. Yeah. I was on this point of Tamal Krishna Maharaj, I was in the Pujari room one day, and Gopal Prabhu was listening to this lecture while he cooked. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, if you're able to work for 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, how many austerities we're doing for our work, but you can't chant for 2 hours a day. What is this, What is this balance, What you're doing so many austerities for your work, but the most important thing in your life, you can't do 2 hours of it. You can't take a little bit of time out of your day to do that. So we have to be balanced in our life. And Hiranyakashipu, he was able to do 100 celestial years of material austerity, but in the end he was killed by Krishna. In the end it was fruitless. And so we may do so many hours of austerity in the material world, but we have to keep it balanced. We have to still at least maintain our rounds. Because if not, then what is the value? If not, then we are imbalanced. We're working for no end. Yeah.
May I say something?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your class, Jamuna Prabhu. You bring up such a great point that if we're doing 8 hours a day of work, 10 hours a day of work, sitting in front of a laptop computer, which is a form of yajna, and we're using a yantra, which is our laptop, right? Phones, laptops, these are all different types of yantras, right? So we're doing all this work, and we're not able to chant 2 hours a day, or maybe 30 minutes a day. Like, we're not able to maintain that, incorporate it into our life. What does it really mean? And it goes to show that the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is really the superior yajna. No matter how much corporate work we may be doing, or no matter how much austerity we may be performing in the material world, but the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is really the superior yajna. It goes to show, because not everyone is able to even chant for 10 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, 2 hours a day, but they're able to do all sorts of other types of work for maybe 10 hours a day. So thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that, Prabhu. You were so nicely glorifying Tamal Krishna Goswami. He was, I heard a story, or I was on his Instagram page or something like that, where Prabhupada had asked for some water, and Goswamiji, they were on the second floor of some building, and excuse me. They were on the second floor of some building, and Goswami Maharaj had jumped from the second floor into like
the Ganga.
The Ganga, yeah, and to get water, and that's like, it goes to show that someone who is performing such a high level yajna, like for so long, how much what his capacity is really, what that individual's capacity becomes. That's really amazing, and also something we can strive towards, I think.
Wonderful point.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu.
In the tape, Tamal Krishna Maharaj describes how he got in his gamsha and he dove into the Ganga, and he comes back up, and Srila Prabhupada, he takes a glass of Ganga water, he drinks it, and a big belch, and he goes, "Ah, accepted." Wow. Yeah, and usually, I'm a little shy to say that someone should chant 16 rounds, or generally we don't immediately say you should chant 16 rounds, but Tamal Krishna Maharaj, I felt he put it in such an amazing way that if you look at your day, how much are you giving to one aspect, and you can't just give a 12th of your day, and a 12th of your day every day becomes a 12th of your life. That's such a small sacrifice for going back to Godhead. So really, if we can chant 16 rounds, that's best. That chanting hotline. Yeah, that'd be a great website, a chanting hotline.
And, one more thing I did want to mention, Prabhu, if that's okay. The thing about Swamiji exemplifying the way he's really exemplifying how to use an austerity for Krishna consciousness, which is the opposite of what Hiranyakashipu was doing. He was performing austerity for his own son's gratification and things like that. But Tamal Krishna Goswami was really performing these types of austerities, and he didn't take a drop of that Ganga water. He gave it all to Srila Prabhupada. And that's just the way, it's so nice to see someone exemplifying, attaining maybe a particular siddhi or a particular austerity or performing a particular austerity, but rather for the pleasure of a pure Vaishnav instead of for sense gratification.
Jai. Bhaktivinoda Thakur prays that he can be a dog in a Vaishnava's home to serve. That can be our position, is, if someone asks us for water, maybe we don't have to dive 2 floors into a river.
2 stories.
No, we can, walk down the building and fill up a cup. Our austerities don't have to be that great to please Krishna.
The Ganga was right there under the balcony. It was right there.
Wow. Have you seen the building?
Actually, I saw a picture of it.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty awesome. It's awesome. It's beautiful.
Jai. Thank you. All right, it's 8:30. We shall wrap up. Thank you all for discussing this section together. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Hiranyakashipu. Yeah. Each day is 6 months of celestial. No, yeah. Each celestial day is 6 months of normal, of earthly time.
कल्पवृक्षालक्ष्यावृतेषु सुरभिरभिपनयन्तम् चिन्तामणि लक्ष्मी सहस्रशत संभ्रम सेवमानम् गोविन्दम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि एकपशुः रचयतं जगदण्डकोटि एकपशुः रचयतं एकपशुः रचयतं जगदण्डकोटि यच्छक्तिरस्ते जगदण्डचयाजदन्तम् एकपशुः रचयतं जगदण्डकोटि यच्छक्तिरस्ति जगदण्डचयाजदन्तम् अन्नास्तरंस्तं अन्नान्तरस्थं परमाणु चयान्तरस्थं गोविन्दम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि अन्नान्तरस्थं परमाणुचयान्तरस्थं गोविन्दम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं चिन्तामणि प्रकटसद्मसु कल्पवृक्षं लक्ष्याब्देषु सुरभिरभिप चिन्तामणि लक्ष्याब्देषु सुरभिरभिप तं लक्ष्मी सहस्रशत संभ्रम सेवमानं गोविन्दं आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि प्रेमाञ्जनचुरितभक्तिविलोचनेन प्रेमाञ्जनचुरितभक्तिविलोचनेन सन्तः सदैव दीर्घेषु विलोकयन्ति जं श्यामसुन्दरम् अचिन्तगुणस्वरूपम् जं श्यामसुन्दरम् अचिन्तगुण स्वरूपम् जं श्यामसुन्दराम् अचिन्तगुण स्वरूपम् गोविन्दम् आदिपुरुषम् तमहं भजामि गोविन्दम् तमहं भजामि चिन्तामणि रामादिमूर्तिषु कलानियमेन तिष्ठन् रामादिमूर्तिषु कलानियमेन तिष्ठन् नानावतारमकरत् भुवनेषु किन्तु रामादिमूर्तिषु कलानियमेन तिष्ठन् नानावतारमकरत् भुवनेषु किन्तु कृष्णस्य समभवत् परमपुमानजो कृष्णस्य समभवत् परमात्मानजो गोविन्दम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि गोविन्दम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि चिन्तामणि यस्य प्रभा प्रभवतो यस्य प्रभा प्रभवतो जगदण्डकोटि यस्य प्रभा प्रभवत जगदण्डकोटि कोटि वसुधादि विभूति भिन्नम्